Back in 2020, Google made a bold aim of using only clean, carbon-free electricity by 2030. Data centers are notorious for consuming billions of kilowatt-hours of energy each year. They roughly use 1% of the electricity on the planet. And this number can rise to 8% by 2030. Google's commitment to sustainability isn't new. This tech giant achieved carbon neutrality in 2007 and has purchased more than 10 gigawatts of clean energy by investing in wind and solar technologies in places like Astoria, South Dakota, Chile, and Taiwan. From 2007 to 2020, Google matched 100% of its global electricity use with purchases of renewable energy. That too during the 2 pandemic years when everything shifted to online and the strain on global data servers doubled. People's work, school, doctor's appointments, first dates, and visit with loved ones happened virtually. Google Meet and Duo hosted over 1 trillion minutes of video calls in 2020, but still kept pace with achieving its goal. However, there are instances when wind and solar combined couldn't keep up with Google's energy demand. So when the sun doesn't shine bright or the wind is slow and non-existent, they often have to rely on carbon-emitting resources such as coal and gas power plants. That's why Google made an early bet on geothermal energy that can help progress its green goals. The company partnered with Fervo Energy in 2021 to develop next-generation geothermal power. This power plant is situated near Winnemucca, Nevada, and sends 3.5 megawatts of energy to the power grid. For context, 1 megawatt is enough to meet the demand of roughly 750 homes at the same time. Google has 2 data centers there, one near Las Vegas and the other near Reno. These 2 sites can utilize clean energy for the main grid. Unlike wind and solar energy models, geothermal energy can be extracted all year round and doesn't have to be restricted to weather changes or wind pressure. As of now, geothermal energy supplies less than 1% of the world's energy needs. That's not impressive, but it could be enhanced in the near future. But how does geothermal work anyway? We know that the Earth's core is very hot. The high temperature heats water in the underground reservoirs in the Earth's crust. This hot water might come down to the surface in the form of hot springs and geysers. A geothermal power plant draws water from these underground reservoirs to the surface to produce steam. This steam then drives turbines that generate electricity. The estimated energy that can be recovered and utilized on the Earth's surface is 4.5 times 10 to the 6 exajoules. This is enough to power the Earth 3 times over. It's important to note that not all countries can easily extract geothermal energy, as it is usually found along major tectonic plate boundaries where most volcanoes are placed. And even if availability isn't the problem, renewable technologies like these are still too costly for large-scale deployment. These same obstacles are faced by Google, particularly in some sites in Asia. Most geothermal stations are built where naturally heated water can be easily tapped, like hot springs and geysers. This hot water is pumped to the surface, where it produces steam that powers turbines. But guess what? The site where Google's geothermal plant stands is just dry rock with no hot water. So how did Fervo solve this problem? And can other countries with low hydrothermal resources learn from it? Stay with us till the end to find out. If you've enjoyed the videos so far, hit the like and subscribe button to show your support. You can also ring the notification bell to get notified whenever we release a new video. This simple action delivers 2 new videos each week to your timeline, giving you access to exceptional content all for free. While hot water might not be present everywhere, hot rocks are virtually everywhere, with temperatures rising hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit within the first few miles of the surface. Fervo drilled thousands of feet below ground to reach the hot rock and pump its water into the pipeline, which got heated up underground. Using the tricks mastered by the oil and gas industry, Fervo drilled 2 wells that each extended more than 7,000 feet down. This is more than 2 times the length of the Burj Khalifa, but they didn't stop there. They extended both their wells horizontally up to another 3,000 feet. To access more feet, Fervo created fractures in the rock. Cold water is then pumped underground through the well. Due to the high pressure, water enters the fractures where it comes in contact with heat. The water gets heated to a temperature of around 375 degrees Fahrenheit and rises to enter the second well. Fervo announced that its experiment had succeeded after a month-long testing period that saw temperatures at the bottom of the boreholes reach 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This experiment gave them enough steam to produce an estimated 3.5 megawatts of electricity. While this output is less than the initial 5 megawatt estimate when Google announced it, small modifications can increase its generation power in the future. Fervo CEO Tim Latimer also pointed out that this project is the first to achieve such a high level of performance. Google's Nevada station is built close to a traditional geothermal power plant so that the project can use existing turbines and power lines to deliver electricity to the grid. With the success of Google's geothermal venture, Fervo wants to replicate this model in as many places as possible to help transition the world away from coal, oil, and natural gas, and hence reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This is also the long-term goal for Google, who want to go completely carbon-free by the end of the decade. In September 2020, Google released a report that showed gaps in its clean energy supply. The green spikes represent the proportion of green energy powering their data centers, while the black region shows the gaps. Google also used other visual data like these carbon clocks to show how green each of their data center is in different locations. These carbon clocks show hourly carbon-free energy performance at each Google data center during September 2019, 1 year before the publication of this paper. Oklahoma shows impressive results with a full green clock, standing at 96% carbon-free energy. The lowest number is found in Singapore, which only shows 3% efficiency. Google has to overcome these gaps if it truly wants to go 100% carbon-free. But wait, wasn't Google already carbon neutral back in 2007? What do you mean they want to go carbon-free 24/7 for all 365 days? This brings us to a fundamental difference between carbon neutrality and carbon-free status. When Google announced that it became carbon neutral, it meant that it compensated for its greenhouse emissions by buying carbon offsets and carbon credits. Carbon offsets allow governments, organizations, and even celebrities like Taylor Swift who keep using their private jets to compensate by supporting projects that reduce or remove emissions elsewhere. On the other side, carbon-free means that Google won't emit any emissions in the first place. It will completely source its energy from renewable sources like wind, solar, and geothermal, and sustainable hydroelectric or biomass energy. In addition, Google is also working to advance other carbon-free technologies like large-scale battery storage, advanced nuclear, and green hydrogen, which can all help in the fight against climate change. There is no doubt that geothermal energy has a lot of potential in the future as more sophisticated techniques will be there to tap the Earth's heat. The idea of geothermal power is simple and elegant. This is why it was even used by people thousands of years ago. Geothermal energy from natural pools and hot springs was used for cooking, bathing, and warmth. There's evidence that Native Americans used geothermal energy for cooking as early as 10,000 years ago. In ancient times, baths heated by hot springs were used by Greeks and Romans. And examples of geothermal space heating date at least as far back as the Roman city of Pompeii during the 1st century. However, such uses of geothermal energy were initially limited to sites where hot water and steam were accessible. In the 20th century, electricity demand prompted some people to explore geothermal energy as an option. The first breakthrough, or rather the first geothermal power plant, was invented in Tuscany, Italy. Thanks to Prince Piero Gennaro Conti, an Italian businessman, the world first found its way to geothermal energy. He tested the world's first geothermal energy power generator on 4 July 1904 in Larderello, Italy. It was able to produce 10 kilowatts of energy and powered 5 light bulbs. Later, in 1911, the world's first commercial geothermal power station was built there. This plant gradually improved throughout the years, and now Larderello is composed of 34 plants operated by the Italian company NL Green Power EGP. The capacity of the site is now 800 megawatts and has helped Italy become one of the top producers of geothermal energy in the world. As global temperatures steadily rise due to our continued use of fossil fuel energy, almost every country and business is looking for environmentally friendly options. In 2019 alone, Google enclosed 18 new deals that included millions of solar panels and hundreds of wind turbines spread across 3 continents. These deals have driven more than $7 billion in new construction and thousands of related jobs. The deals include investments in places like the US, Europe, and Chile. In the US, Google purchased solar farms in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas, more than doubling the capacity of its solar portfolio. In Chile, Google used a hybrid system of both solar and wind to power its Chilean data center. After the success of Google's geothermal site in Nevada, the tech giant partnered with Project Interspace. This company is a leading nonprofit organization dedicated to the global development of geothermal energy. Through this collaboration, Project Interspace can help Google realize its goal of a carbon-free future. Do you think geothermal energy is the future? Can it beat other sources of electricity like nuclear, solar, or wind? Give us your take in the comments. That's all for today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're committed to releasing 2 videos each week, so your support means a lot, and we'll see you in the next video.